In 2013, an experiment began in the NBA. A team that won 49 games but got bounced in the first round of the playoffs decided to go all in on a short-term strategy of getting two former star players who were nearing retirement. These players were still high caliber. Both of them made all-star teams within the prior two seasons. Meet the 2014 Brooklyn Nets. By adding big man and all-time defensive talent Kevin Garnett, they were locked to be a defensive juggernaut. By adding Paul Pierce, they'd add to an already potent offense. The hype was real. This new team had the fourth highest preseason odds to win the title. They were projected for 52.5 wins. Everything looked golden, but then the season started. In their first 31 games, they went 10-21. Injuries plagued their acquired star Kevin Garnett, who missed more games in 2014 than in any previous season. They'd recover after the All-Star break and ended up with a decent record of 44-38. They even made it to the conference semifinals. But they were a far cry from the 52.5 win title contender they were projected to be. The takeaway? Short-term pushes to get remaining value out of mid-30s stars might not be worth it. And what better way to segue into the main story of this video? Because in 2022, there's another team that acquired over-the-moon former stars. They're also projected for 52.5 wins, and they have the second highest championship odds. Meet the 2022 Lakers, the All-NBA 2012 team that also includes Anthony Davis. My argument for why the Lakers will not win 53 games boils down to two basic concepts: age and efficiency. Let's start with efficiency. Efficiency is a combination of three factors: true shooting percentage, turnover percentage, and offensive rebounding percentage. And there's a pretty basic formula to calculate it, which I'll leave in the description. The formula isn't perfect for a few reasons, but it has one key advantage over points per possession. It can be calculated at the individual level with a slight adjustment. For that formula, I'll also leave it in the description. Again, this formula is not perfect, but it is a very solid measurement of efficiency that can be done precisely at the team and individual level. We're going to focus this analysis on the 10 Lakers players with the most expected minutes according to 538. We're going to use the 2021 numbers for each player. I'll explain why this is actually being generous later in the video, but for now, let's just assume 2021 is an accurate measure of the 2022 Lakers. Here are the 2021 true shooting percentages for the Lakers, with the league average for 2021 highlighted in red. While not terrible, it's difficult to make the case that these Lakers will be much above average, if above average at all. Here are their turnover rates. With most of the team way above league average, this team is going to struggle with keeping possession of the ball. And with the exception of Dwight Howard, who likely won't be getting too many minutes, this team won't succeed on the offensive glass. By combining these stats into a single efficiency metric, we can see why it's unlikely the Laker offense will be effective at all. 4 players crack the league average, and only Anthony Davis, who is barely above, will be a high usage player. And given Russell Westbrook's unique combination of high usage and extreme inefficiency, he'll probably wipe out more than the gains of all 4 above average efficiency players combined. Of course, basketball is a two-way street, and it wouldn't be fair to focus exclusively on offense when the Lakers brought in defensive stalwarts like Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, and Wayne Ellington. They also got rid of their only 3-and-D player in KCP. Of course, I'm using 2021 stats to make my points, and maybe massive improvement is on the horizon. Well, probably not, because it's time to discuss age. In the last 10 seasons, 56 NBA teams have won 53 games, or the pro-rata equivalent. Here is the average age of the 6 players with the most minutes on those teams. The 2022 Lakers will definitely get big minutes from LeBron, AD, and Russ. The last 3 could be any of these 7 players: Kendrick Nunn, Talen Horton-Tucker, Wayne Ellington, Kent Bazemore, Carmelo, Dwight Howard, or Rondo. If we average the age of these 7 players, we get 31. Let's assume that the last 3 players who will get the top 6 minutes, will be the average of these 7. If we take that average and average it with LeBron, AD, and Russ's age, we get an average age of 31.7 years, as highlighted in the chart. No team this old has been able to pull off 53 wins in a season in the last 10 years. Which brings me back to my point about why the 2021 numbers are actually giving the Lakers more credit than they deserve. The Lakers' big three of LeBron, Westbrook, and Davis have been on the decline in efficiency. And to make matters worse, the league is getting better at the same time. But worse performance is not the only companion of old age. Less performance is crucial too. Here are the 5 players with the highest similarity scores to LeBron and their minutes by season. You'll notice that later in their careers, their minutes die off. Here's the average of those 5 so you can see the trend a little bit more clearly. Here is LeBron. Not only is the Lakers' biggest star likely to play his least efficient basketball of the last 10 seasons, but he's also likely to play a lot fewer minutes than the Lakers would hope. Do I think a fully healthy 2021 version of the 2022 Lakers is good enough to win 53 games? No. Do I think the 2022 version of this group will be better than their 2021 selves given their collective ages? No. Do I think the 2022 version of this group, particularly its one true star in LeBron, will be healthier than previous seasons and get more minutes? No and no. When I told you the story of the 2014 Brooklyn Nets, trying to build off a 49-win team by adding a few outdated Hall of Famers, and then turning into a 44-win team despite being projected for 52.5 wins, I left out a key detail. They'd actually been outscored in the regular season and had a predicted win total of only 38 games based on their season-long stats. While I don't envision this channel being much about gambling, it's important to disclose that I'm putting my money where my mouth is. The largest bet I'd placed in my life to date was $500. I placed a $2,000 bet on the Lakers under 52.5 wins. Wish me luck, and please subscribe.